Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Boutique Talk. My name is Jake Boston, otherwise known as Steelbook Obsessed, on all of your major social media platforms. And if you want to listen to all things physical media related, then you've come to the right place. Every week, I'll have a new guest to talk about one of their favorite physical media releases. And today, my guest is the biggest A24 fanboy I know and has been making physical media content for almost a decade now. He goes by Dan in real life on TikTok, and everywhere else, he's known as Bluray Dan. Dan, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. What an intro. That was wonderful, man. I didn't expect that. Thank you.
Yeah, I had to write something special for you because, man, you're like one of the first people that I talked to when I started doing this thing, and I had to whip up something good, man.
Got me tearing up over here, man. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good now, man. Get to talk movies and A24 with a good buddy of mine, so I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem. Every episode, I try to start out with how you started your physical media collecting journey. I don't think I've ever talked to you about this period, so I'm curious to know the answer.
So, I mean, I guess I could blame my family a little bit. You know, it wasn't just something that popped into my head. I grew up before the Blu-rays and 4Ks and DVDs. I grew up with a camera in my face all the time. So VHS tapes upon VHS tapes, not even only for movies, just like home movies everywhere. So we've always had piles and piles of technically physical media. Some VHS tape movies here and there, and turned into DVDs. I remember my mother first got, we went out, we came home one day and she surprised us with a surround sound. And the first DVD was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs that we ever had. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, man. DVDs didn't take off as much until Blu-rays kind of kicked in. And something about, I don't know, just finding your favorite movies on physical and the different artwork and everything, getting to hold it and watch it over and over and over again. It appealed to me, and one thing turned into another, and another turned into obsession, and obsession turned into hoarding, and here we are.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of your lives, Dan, and that room you're in right now, like you're just showing a corner of it right now. That entire room is chock full of movies. Do you know how many you have off the top of your head, like ballpark?
Yeah, so before I stopped counting, because I used to keep track on like Bluray.com, and I stopped, I want to say a good 4 or 5 years ago. I was around 5,000 then. And since that point, I don't even know, man. I got to say, I always, whenever I get that question, I say about 7,000 to 8,000, somewhere in that range. All Blu-ray, all 4K, no DVDs, no VHS.
Right. I keep track on the My Movies app religiously just because I know if I ever stop doing this or if I ever like forget to do a couple titles, I'm just not going to have any clue whatsoever.
For some reason, I seem to have an idea, but there's definitely been a couple times where I'm like, oh, sweet, got this in the mail. And you try to slide it on the shelf. You're like, I already have this one, but it didn't come with the slip cover. Now I got it with the slip.
That's my reason for getting it. Yes.
That's why we got it. That's why.
Well, that's how you started your collecting journey. It sounds like your family kind of did it too, and it just kind of got interwoven in your DNA. How did you learn about boutique labels?
I mean, well, I guess at this point I think had already started YouTube, and or I at least watched YouTube. And I don't know, do you consider Criterion a boutique label?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I started, I guess, watching some people with their Criterion collections, and this was when it was fairly small, the Blu-rays at least, and I guess that's really kind of what brought me into it. And my first YouTube video was on 2 out of print Criterions that I had gotten, the Third Man, which is out of print, like one of the first ones that went out, and I guess from there on, I started. I think one of the first boutique titles that I saw, and I can't remember exactly what company released it, but it's that lenticular of Lone Survivor. I don't think it's Nova Media. I'm not entirely sure. I forget what it is, but it's just something about the lenticular. It was in a steelbook form, and that just like that. I'm a sucker for lenticular. So when I see something like that has so much depth and so much detail, it's like, wow, man, it kind of hooked me. And then I think Kimchi DVD released Whiplash not too far after, and that one blew me away.
Yep, great release.
Love it, man. Yeah, so that's kind of what started me into it. And then another thing I think that threw me into it a little bit more is, the company Everything Blue?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the sets behind you.
Yeah. I got where they got the Cornetto trilogy right there behind me.
Very jealous of those, by the way. I want all of those. I have like one different little version of Hot Fuzz World's End, and those box sets are awesome.
They're awesome. And but what I think interested me even more so is that I know the people from Everything Blue, right? When they first started, the guys, the one who created it was Ben, and he put out Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and then I introduced Adeniji, which is the main design artist and everything for it. I introduced him to Ben, and that's what formed Everything Blue officially.
Oh, I
so
didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So shout out to Adeniji and Ben. Denny's a good buddy of mine. He was my peeps on YouTube. So he introduced me to, like, I mean, I watched when he was creating Shaun of the Dead, and then that company blew up. So that's what really kind of threw me into it even more so.
That's awesome. Like, when I started doing this whole thing, I never thought I'd be able to get any type of peek behind the curtain on how this stuff gets made. I've been able to do that once or twice. That'd be very cool to see how it's done on a premium set like that.
Super cool, man. It's really awesome. A little bit behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
but so it's funny. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No,
but
yeah.
It's so it was, see, before that. So like right before he started, or he joined the company, Ben already had somebody. He already had an artist that he did the Killer Clowns release with, but I knew Adeni used to do like custom slipcover videos, and he would show how he would create everything, and I was like, this is amazing to watch how he would take this. And he did one for the Warriors that it was just like it was like the background of like a couch, like a leather couch, and he made it look like the logo for the Warriors was burnt onto it, and it looked so real. And I was like, yo, this is awesome. And I took that video, sent it to Ben, and that's kind of where everything came from. And I was like, like just something about seeing the behind the scenes and the making of it, detail by details. I love it.
Honestly, I don't know why other companies don't do that. I know that with like the record side of thing, like with Waxwork Records, they have a lot of that behind the scenes stuff of how they make the vinyl records, the pressings and stuff. And
I agree.
From like the molding of all the vinyl. It's a very cool process. I'd like to see how a box set like that is made.
Yeah, that'd be cool. For sure, man.
Yeah. Well, so Criterion's how I haven't talked about this yet. Criterion's how I learned about boutique labels. I thought it was Scream Factory. It's not. I used to work at Hollywood Video my sophomore year of college, and they had a Criterion section, and I'm like, what the hell is Criterion? Yeah. And like they had every single DVD ever made. They were just starting to get the Blu-rays in is when I started working there. It was just that just kind of unlocked a memory in my head. Very, very
That's
cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, but yes, boutique labels are great. The one you wanted to talk about because you are Mr. A24. That's when I think of A24, I think of your face. Yeah, why did you fall in love with them so hard?
I don't know, but I hope they're listening. You know, man, I think I started early. It started all with Ex Machina. Before obviously they released their boutique stuff. It started off with Ex Machina. It was just something about it. It was the first day that I had ever gone to see a movie by myself. It was the first time that I ever saw a double feature. In general in theater, two different movies. It was Chappie, and then it was Ex Machina right after that. I remember the theater I went to, but I watched Ex Machina. I was like, damn, that's a good movie. I really liked it. And I didn't have many people to talk about it with. And then, I stayed from the beginning to the end. So I saw that A24 logo popping up and everything. And not long after, I remember seeing the trailer for Green Room. I went to Union Square's theater to see Green Room, and I was like, this is awesome. And then I saw the A24 logo, and I was like, huh. All right. So little by little, it built up. I remember seeing Room over at Nighthawk Cinema in Brooklyn. And I was like, man, I really, really like this company. I really, really do.
Yeah, I see the Uncut Gems poster over there. I know I've seen your lives. I don't know if you can see it behind him, but he's got every single A24 release ever. Yes. I think every single movie.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. We'll talk more about the brand here in a second, but just to kind of set the mood, I have like a montage of A24. One thing that I like when movie studios do this at any time is when they have their logo, but they make it creative, like for the movie that's being played. I found a little montage of some examples of this. I'll show this off, and then we'll talk more A24. Okay, bud?
Sure.
Here we go.
Hi, you Maud? Because of my Patrick.
To the Blake family.
Your last job is... I have to say.
It's
Does anybody have service?
Yeah.
Ain't got no home.
I could have went on and on with all of those. They have so many very cool ones. The one that wasn't in that one that I really tried to find was the one for mid 90s with all the skateboards and they kind of ride through them. I like that one a lot, but I really
Forgot
like
about that one
too. Yeah, there's a lot of very cool, unique title cards that they have, and I love that about them.
I'm glad you included the one for men because that one with the apples falling, I love that one. This is
I
super
like that
cool.
one. I like the one of like all the lamb like creating the logo.
Yes, love that also. Even bodies with the neon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really really cool. Love that.
I like A24 just because they feel unique. Like they feel like they're making movies in their own wheelhouse almost. And it kind of goes that way with their releases of movies, and it also goes that way with their releases they're coming out with as a boutique label on their website. I know you have I know you have every single one. I only know of a couple. Do you mind showing some of those off now?
Of course. So the one that I think we talk about, I think the most, or we're here to talk about the most, I think is the Midsommar or Midsummer or Midsommar or you know, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I say it Midsommar, but I know that people call it Midsummer. Like I think it's just whatever floats your boat.
Well, I find it funny because I notice the more times I say it wrong in a video, people they feel like they have to comment on how I'm saying it. Sure. But yeah, so this was the main one that they released. But before Midsommar or Midsommar was Krisha. Where are we?
Oh.
Krisha is it's like a family drama, like takes place during Thanksgiving. But it's almost like a little digibook. I forgot I have a couple of original old school art cards here. We have Good Time and what's that one? It Comes at Night. But yeah, it's almost like a digibook. So Krisha, it's a good movie, but it's a very, very, you know, indie film. And I think it's one of the early ones. I don't remember when this one was released, but this was the very first one to come out. And actually, when there was a while where you can get it on the website autographed. I missed out on that one. I was not around for that.
I like A24's website. Me buying Midsommar was the first time I ever bought anything from their website.
Yeah.
And it just, the amount of releases they have, not only just for movies, but for merchandise for all of their stuff is very cool. I saw that they had like a little mini mid-90s tech deck board that I want, but they also had like a replica Marcel the Shell that I almost bought just on a whim, even though I've never seen the movie. It looks amazing. I've seen the shorts. That's so cute.
Where is he, my little buddy? And dude, it's like a paperweight. It's heavy. It's very heavy. Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, it won't go anywhere. It won't break.
Well, you know, he walks off on his own sometimes.
Of course, yeah. When you're sleeping, he does his own thing.
No, dude, they release a lot of cool things. That skateboard one, I've always been jealous of that because they did there were a couple different ways you can get that. Originally, they gave it out to, I don't know if they gave it out to people who went to the premiere. I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that one, but they definitely sent a couple to like press people, like, you know, like if they send the movie to it, they send a couple to press people. Now I was getting some stuff at that time. They did not send that to me and I was heartbroken. And then they gave a couple away for free down the line and it went too quick. I couldn't get it.
That stinks. Do you have everything else? Is that like one of the few that you missed out on?
No, you know what? There's been a lot. For Uncut Gems. They had the basketball up on the website. That was cool. Shoot, man, I have a whole video. I should re-upload it. They did a whole pop-up shot for Uncut Gems when Uncut Gems came out, and in New York. And you go in there, man, and there were the basketballs. And I have, shoot, man, I should have took it out. They have water bottles that say the name of the place, the Jewelers. I forget what it was. Something Jewelers, KM Jewelers or something like that. I have the video where I actually held like the Furby that moved its eyes and stuff like that.
Sweet.
Really cool. But no, I don't have the, there's a lot. I mean, they're expensive, man. As much as I love A24, they are a little overpriced.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to that when we talk about Midsommar, and I don't know if the other packages are as bare bones as this one ended up being. Like, do the other ones have special features on them or anything?
I believe some of them do. Yes. So there are. So here's an example of this is, I think that this is the latest one. This is the Blu-ray release for After Sun.
Okay.
And you can see right here on the back, there are special features. You have documentary. Director commentary with I think the cast of collectible postcards, behind the scenes photography, stuff like that. So some of them definitely do.
I'm curious if the Blu-ray had anything and just the 4K didn't.
That's what I was gonna see, and I think yes, I have the Blu-ray right over here. It says "Let the festivities begin." Manifesting Midsommar, Bear in a Cage promo. I don't know. It's so yeah. It's not much. It isn't much, but I think when the 4K was first announced and released, everybody was like, "Oh my god, direct from A24," and then it was just bare bones. See, there's not even a menu. It's play with caption or not.
I could not believe that. It's just a black screen with white text saying, "Do you want to play this movie or do you want to play it with subtitles?" That's the only thing you get on this main menu. We'll talk about that now because I was in shock. I'm like, at first I thought, "Oh, this is very cool. It's not even going to let me access the main menu. It wants me to go directly to the movie. That's a cool, unique feature." But no, that's it.
That's it. You get nothing else. So I forgot because it's been so long since I put it in, and so I was going through. I asked you for talking points, like what do we want to discuss, what points you want to discuss in this, and I was like, okay, discuss these special features for the movie. So I was like, all right, cool, put it in, and that popped up, and I was like, where are the other options? And I hit it, and the movie just started every time, and I'm like, this is, oh my god, I forgot there are none. It's crazy. It's crazy. And
the one thing I'm thinking, I don't know, I have no idea if this is true or not. When you buy something from their website, you have the option to buy the 4K version or the Blu-ray version. I'm curious if the Blu-ray version has special features on it or not. Because I know some 4Ks they want to make. You don't think so?
No, I don't think so, because this was, I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive that I'm not. It's not like I would say maybe if they use the disc that Lionsgate released, the A24 Lionsgate release that I just showed, maybe. But this is their own. I think pressing and everything. So I'm pretty sure it's just the movie.
And maybe they would have to make their own special features. I would think that Ari Aster would want to pack this sucker full with stuff. But
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand it.
Yeah. But okay, enough about that. We'll talk about Midsommar later. Do you want to show off some of the other releases you have from them?
Absolutely. So I'm trying to think what came next after Midsommar. I have the order so there are different kinds, right? So you have the Midsommar is the I think this is a collector's edition. So of the collector's editions, you also have, this was the second one that was released. You have The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Cool. I have not seen that movie, but I've wanted to for the longest time. Is it any good?
The movie is good. I will tell you though, something about the trailer itself that I fell in love with. I've never watched, there's not many movies that I could watch a trailer over and over again to, but something about the way the clips that they chose, the music that they chose, that thing sucked me in so much that I was hunting for the vinyl when the soundtrack was released, and I love it. The movie is really good. I do like the movie, but just that something about that hooked me. Then you got the Green Knight is the third collector's edition that they released. That's black on the outside, and it's really like, I don't know if you could see like the detail in it. Really, really cool, like textured.
Yeah.
The inside is yellow. I like that one
almost.
Yeah. Yes. And then you have the Lighthouse, which opens up a little bit differently, right there. And then Everything Ever All at Once, which is the Which is the most recent one. Those are the collector's editions, which are really cool. Then there's the Krisha that I showed you. And then there were 4. Let me see if I get them in the right order. There were 4. I think they were originally called special editions, but I'm not too sure if they call them that anymore. But you had, I think this may have been the first one. You have Lamb.
That one's really cheap on their website. They must have a lot of those still.
Probably. Have you seen Lamb?
I haven't. No. I've heard very mixed things about that movie.
It's weird, but it's funny.
Okay.
They came out with, of course, Marcel the Shell, which I absolutely love. I love this release.
you let me pick whatever movie I wanted to,
Yeah.
and I was in between Midsommar and Marcel.
Yeah.
Because I haven't even seen Marcel yet. I've seen the YouTube shorts from them, but I want to see the movie very badly. I
I
almost should have
recommend
picked
it.
that one.
And I love how sometimes they'll connect like the side art with the disc, and you could see how Marcel
Very
walked
nice.
past the disc.
That's great.
I love
That's
it.
great.
I love it. And yeah, so I think I had mentioned this to you. Like when you said which one should you pick, I was like second choice was going to say maybe you should check Marcel because you have a family that I think would also appreciate it.
My girls love Marcel the Shell. So we've been waiting to get. I don't know why I didn't pick that one. I was more interested in seeing the difference in the director's cut of Midsommar, and I'm like, I'll get Marcel later. They have so many movies here they can watch. We'll get to it at some point. I should have picked it up.
Get that next. I would recommend that one. So those two were both in 4K. I'm pretty sure Lamb was 4K. These next two only had options for Blu-ray. I'm not too sure why they went with that. This is 2-movie collection. This is the Souvenir Parts 1 and 2.
That's thick.
Yeah. Oh, it's a thick boy. That's what she said, man. Yeah, it's a nice girth to it. And then After Sun, which came out recently. And this is the only way that you can get After Sun, and this is the only way that you can get the second Souvenir, and then Lamb also, and Marcel actually, I think.
Yeah, Marcel. There's no other way to get Marcel right now.
Yeah. But man, it's a great release. So I think that's a good one to do.
I blind buy movies all the time. I don't know why I didn't do it with that one. I will do that. I promise. Yes.
You should.
Next one of these in the next couple of weeks, I will get Marcel because I have wanted to see that for the longest time.
I love it, man. I love it.
This is the only A24 version from them that I have. I have a couple other A24 sprinkled in my collection. I have the Steelbook for The Witch. I think this is a nice little release. And I had the Second Sight version too, but I just put the Second Sight 4K disc in here because I didn't have the box set. I just had the standard release.
Yeah.
And have you seen the 4K transfer on The Witch?
I have not seen the 4K transfer just yet. I have the Second Sight version. Actually, I think it's probably in shot. It's probably right there.
Okay.
However, I just got my 2 tickets for my girlfriend and myself to see The Witch in theaters on October 4th.
It's very good. This month AMC is playing 4 different A24 movies, right?
I think they're Chills and Thrills or Thrills and Chills, either one. Yeah, it's So The Witch is one that I was like, you know what? I saw Midsommar in theaters. I saw X in theater. I would like to see Scarlett Johansson's Under the Skin, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the movie. But I feel like The Witch is one that you should see on the big screen. That's one, that atmosphere. It's creepy. The sound. So I'm excited to see that one. We're going October 4th.
And especially because all of them only play for 1 week and then they're just gone. The Witch would be a movie to where, like, especially since it's already been out for a while, the people that are going to go see that movie love that movie. I think it's going to be a great experience for sure.
I agree. Yeah,
there's going to be so many cheers for Black Phillip. I can already guarantee that. Yeah, but that 4K, the Second Sight of The Witch, very crispy. It looks nice. There's a lot of like black levels all over the place. A lot of dark scenes in that movie. Yeah, looks nice. Love Second Sight is great.
They're great.
Criterion also has a couple of A24 movies out. I have the Uncut Gems. I love this release so much. It is very like prismy. Here, I'll try to make myself bigger here, throw myself up there.
Yeah.
All nice and rainbowed out. I also I'm a sucker for just packaging that is themed from the movie.
Yeah, I love it.
When you open it up.
Love it.
It's got the weird geodes in there from the beginning and the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And then like the booklet that it comes in, the KMH Gems and Jewelry. And this is like a table of contents almost and goes through like the behind the scenes making of the movie. And it looks like a pamphlet you'd get from the jewelry set. I love stuff when it comes. I love themed stuff in my releases.
It's awesome. I love that.
Nice. Okay,
I was so happy. So like A24 is my favorite studio and Criterion is my favorite like physical media company. Yeah. So when that was announced, when they were like, hey, Uncut Gems is coming to Criterion, I was like, oh my God, I think I went crazy. There are many videos that I posted for that release.
It's very cool. I'm really hoping that they do the other Safdie one, Good Time. I would lose my mind.
That would be awesome.
I think that needs to have a very proper release because the one that's out now, it's okay, but I want a nice, crispy special edition of that movie. I love it.
I agree. And did you see? I don't know if I showed it all properly, but it's funny because I forgot. It must have been around when Good Time was in the theater. because with that I have it put in the Krisha release. But there's the little postcard for Good Time,
Right.
which is so cool, man. I love. That's a great movie, man. Great movie.
Yeah, I think I like that movie better than Uncut Gems, but of course the one with Adam Sandler is going to get more love.
Yeah.
I do like how A24, I guess every time you get something from them, they send you a postcard as well from like a future movie that's coming out.
Almost every time. It's not every single time, but it's almost every time. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, the one I got for this one, I had no idea what the movie was, so I just kind of pushed it to the side. I couldn't even tell you the actress that was on there. It just, Hopefully with my Marcel one, I get something a little bit more that I know. I would love to get that Nicolas Cage one for that new movie that's coming out.
Ah, yes.
That would be great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The last one I'll show you, this is a Amazon France exclusive for the Everything Everywhere All at Once Steelbook.
Yeah.
I love this thing. Just the different like texture dimension pops from the different just solution they had on here, the glossiness.
Yeah.
Looks so nice. And then the back is just the, if I take the J card off, just got that Everything Everywhere All at Once classic poster that the slipcover had. Yeah. Very, very cool releases.
I have so many editions of Everything Ever All at Once. It's ridiculous. And I was very bummed out that I couldn't get that one right there. I think I wrote to you. I was like, I can't believe it. Like I missed out. I hesitated on a lot. I mean, I think Italy, I think also had for X. There was a couple. There was one for men. And I was like, shoot, man, I really kind of want to get these. And I just didn't get them. And then obviously when they're not there anymore. That's when I'm like, oh my God, I got to get them. What am I going to do?
Of course.
But to get that Nova Media one, because it has that same artwork on the front. You mind if I show it off?
Yeah, go for it.
So it's still sealed because I don't know if I want to open it up just yet. I'm sure I will, but I didn't yet. But it's got that same beautiful artwork right there. But it's all lenticular, and it looks like you can reach in there, you know.
Right.
And then what my favorite part about it is, no matter what way you turn it. Sorry, that is a little glare, but no matter no matter what way you turn it, from a different person's perspective, it's lenticular from a different.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like I love that, man. It's so cool. And the back comes with the steelbook and the booklet inside. So I love
everything bagel on the back too. Yeah, very very nice.
Yeah, awesome.
Are there any more sets you want to show off from them? Maybe a couple more. If you have any, like at arm's reach, which you probably do.
Yep, yes, I do. The one that you mentioned that you were brought up to me was the one for Minari. Yeah, got this one right over here. And it's really nice. I'm a huge fan of Steven Yeun, so I was so happy when he was going to be in it. There's a front and back, and the whole like that right itself is a wraparound, which I really like. But the comes with a booklet, the Minari Family Farm, but it's the steelbook that's just something about it. It's so beautiful. Look at the steelbook, and this right here. It's almost like a matte gloss. I don't even know. Like it's like a cross between it. But if I can get the right, if I can get the right lighting on the title right there. It's just there's a beautiful gloss to it. And then again, you know, the inside, your postcards and everything, just really, really nice. Just beautiful, beautiful release. I love that. Yeah.
And I love that a movie like Minari got a nice premium set like that. That's awesome.
Me too. I agree. And then I did save one of my favorites for last because it is my favorite A24 film. And it's also a lenticular. And I don't get the
I already know you're going to pull out. I already know you're going to pull out, man.
And I don't even know exactly what company it's from. I don't think it was a Kimchi DVD release, but it's whoa, I dropped it. But it Ghost Story. Look at just the detail, man. Look at how the little bit of the blanket, the sheet goes behind the wall. Just something about it, man. It's so subtle, so beautiful. It's not a steelbook. It's just got like a regular, you know, Blu-ray inside, but there's a lot of different extras, the booklet and everything inside. But for me, it's this beautiful lenticular, man. There's something so beautiful about it. Have you seen A Ghost Story?
I have not.
Yeah,
I have not yet. I know it's your favorite movie that they've released. Why is that? Pitch me why I should watch A Ghost Story.
So A Ghost Story, it's very unique. You know, there's something about it. I think the reason that it stuck with me so much is because it changed my perspective on not just not movies. It changed my perspective on like life and time and afterlife. And there are many movies that have stuck with me after I've seen them, but this movie I can think about it all the time. From the way that they did it, to the music to just the way it made me feel. And it's actually, it's rare for this to happen, but I had a very bad theater experience. The people in front of me, AMC Lincoln Square is very old school theaters. So it's those old school seats where, like, if you put your hand on the back of the seat, the other person's going to get pulled back.
Right.
You bump into each other. This guy was like right up against me, and him and his friends were bashing the movie. This isn't a horror movie. This is stupid. Phone flash in my face. And yet I still fell in love with the movie. Everything about the way that the movie feels, or the way that, like, I'm not going to go into detail, but there are specific scenes that are very long and drawn out. And a lot of people like, it didn't need to be like that. It didn't have to be that long. There's a famous pie scene. And it's like, there's no reason it had to be that long, but there is a reason. And I'll go into it in a on another day, but just something about it, man. It's spiritual. It's cosmic. It really changed and made me think about how, like, what happens after, or, so it's really, really, really good. Really good movie. Not for everybody, but if you go into it knowing that it's not a horror movie and knowing that it's going to be a slow burn, and just to respect, be patient, and I think everybody should check the movie out.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. I remember it sounds. I don't think it's going to be the same realm, but it sounds similar to the hype that It Comes at Night had. Like, they thought it was going to be this huge horror movie.
Yeah.
It ended up being very somber and quiet, and not a lot happened, and people were upset.
Yes. Oh, of course. And I was too. But I think the only difference is that it wasn't. It Comes at Night was mismarketed for sure. They made It Comes at Night, the first trailer that was released, it looked like it was going to be crazy.
Sure did.
And I'm thinking you're going to see zombies and stuff running around. I didn't know what you were going to see, but it's also a slow burn. This one was kind of marketed as, hey, this is what the movie is. It's not going to be a horror movie, but you hear a ghost story, so people are like, oh, we got to.
Sure.
I think it's just the title that kind of threw people off more. It Comes at Night was just big mismarketing. But I actually really liked it on the second, and I think I watched it a third time. I actually liked it a lot because I knew what to expect.
Right.
Yeah.
Any A24 movie I am down to watch, because I know it's just going to be this unique vision from a director, and A24 kind of lets them go at it. Like, of course, they're going to kind of have their hands in it a little bit, but it doesn't seem like they do as much as other bigger studios would. It seems like they let the director have their vision and kind of showcase that to the world, which I absolutely love from them.
Well, yeah, I mean, and a lot of the stuff that they do, though, is also like they'll go to like these they'll watch these movies before they're picked up by any other studio. Like, it's already created, and they're like the ones who, hey, like, we want our name on this one. We want to distribute this, and yeah, man. I mean, they're a lot of their stuff. Even, and that's the one thing that I always said about A24 is people are like, why do you like them so much? Why do you like them so much? Not every movie's good. Well, no, not every movie's good, but the majority, and not that the majority is good, because the majority isn't for everybody. Or not, it's give or take, but there's always some redeeming quality about the movie, even if I don't like it,
right? That
I could appreciate. I could appreciate the cinematography. I didn't like the movie, but I really liked the cinematography, or the music, or the cast. The performances were great. Movie's not for me, but there's something about it there's always something that's unique that I like about them.
The most recent A24 movie that I watched that pitches this to a T is Beau is Afraid. Like, for me, that was a 2.5 out of 5. This movie's not for me, but I do kind of want to rewatch it again. It's just, that's Ari Aster and A24 in spades. Even if the movie isn't for you, there's always something unique about it to where you're feeling like it might not be for me, but it might be for you. And I don't want to totally just crap on this movie.
Of course. Yeah. I wasn't the biggest fan of Beau. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. My girlfriend and I, we went to see the movie. We saw it in IMAX. I was way too close to the screen.
Oh, no.
It was just, there are some things about the movie that I actually really like. There's like a lot of animated scenes, believe it or not, in the movie, for people who haven't seen it, that I thought was really, really cool and very well done. It makes you feel very unsettled throughout the entire movie.
Yes.
So I think it does its job in that sense, but the movie itself, like, story-wise, I just couldn't get into it. And it's super long.
Yeah.
And it's weird. And then it makes you think about how weird and super long it was.
Yeah.
And then it just made me feel kind of gross at the end.
The weirdness part was fine. And like the first 40 minutes is kind of like what his short film was about Beau is Afraid. And I really liked that stuff.
I didn't even see that.
Like, gets cut up into like 4 different, vastly different chunks. And I think the main reason why I ended up like not liking the movie that much at all is just the way it ended. Like, I really hated that last scene. Not good at all. But one thing,
agree.
Ari Aster is the master at making you feel unsettled, like
Yeah.
at all times.
I agree. My girlfriend's gonna listen to this podcast tomorrow, and she's gonna be laughing because she hated Bo is Afraid.
Yes.
She hated it. So she's gonna be hi, babe, if you're listening.
But again, it was A24. I went to the opening weekend screening with my wife, and there were like 25 people that were in there.
Yeah.
More than half the movie theater walked out, and the main like 10 people that stuck with it and knew what they were walking
They
into.
cheered?
My one lady got up at the very end, started cheering. Everybody else is just staring at her like, "Why are you cheering about this?"
Just sit down.
When the credits started rolling in that movie, like when the boat gets tipped over and whatnot, at first all you hear was and then the one lady 5 seconds later standing up clapping, so happy.
Really funny. Really funny.
A24 in a nutshell for me. Sometimes it won't hit, but when it does, you fall head over heels for it.
I agree.
Okay. We talked about one end of the spectrum of Ari Aster with Beau's Afraid. Let's swing to his first movie, Hereditary. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's probably my favorite horror film released by A24. I think Hereditary definitely over Midsommar for me. I like Midsommar. I liked Midsommar. I didn't love it. There's a lot about it that I do like, but Hereditary for me was, you know what? There's so much that's right in your face that was creepy and disturbing, and then after you learn what else is there, even just by brightening your screen, there's a lot that's there that's just staring at you right in your face that you just don't see. And I really like that about it. And yeah, there's a lot of disturbing. I mean, story. I like the story. The cast was great. I think Toni Collette was robbed of an Oscar nomination at least.
I'm still mad about it. Like she should have at least been nominated. I think she should have won the whole damn thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's fantastic. I'm your mother. You know, so good, so good. And yeah, it does a really, really good job of creeping me out. There's a lot of slamming your head against things that I think is one of my most that's one of the things that freak me out the most. And his
reaction afterwards, like once he gets out of the desk, like, oh my god, Alex Winter also had an awesome. Every performance in that movie was amazing. I loved it. The ending will always stick with me. Like the last 15 minutes, it was one of the only times I can count 4 or 5 times of all of my movie going experiences where I went with a group of friends after the movie was over. We just walked out of the theater back to our car. It was like a 10-minute walk. Didn't say a goddamn word because we were just trying. We were in awe of what we just saw. We were walking back, and as soon as we got to the car, even though it was 12:30 at night, we talked for an hour about what the fuck we just saw. It's like, okay, I got my thoughts all in order. Let's go.
I went to see that one alone. And it was the first day that I had contacts ever, and I was trying them out, and it was just my eyes were already messing with me, and then the screen was messing with me. It's definitely disturbing. I think I mean, I don't know for people who are watching or listening who haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin it for them, but it's been out for a while now. But there's a scene where, you know, son's in the attic and she's I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but you know,
it's a scene you will not forget.
Yeah, it's like on top, like, and then slamming her head.
The sound I will not forget. Dear God.
It gives me chills right now. And the way he's like, "Mommy," I can't even, man. It really it screws with me, man. Screw that movie, man.
Yes.
But it's my favorite of the 3.
Mine too. It's one I haven't rated a lot of movies perfect, like a 5 out of 5. That is for sure one of them. That's one of my favorite movies of the 2010s period. So yes, I anytime I've seen that movie 3 times, and every single time I like it more and more.
Brighten your TV after you watch it once, everybody. Brighten your TV and watch it again and see what you see hidden in the background. Have you?
Well, the third time I watched it, I watched the UHD copy, like at 4K on my OLED. Yes. Oh my god, it is creepier than shit. I mean, I saw it the first time in theaters. The second time on my Bluray in my basement. There's no window, so it's always dark. But I had like it was an okay TV, but for black levels, it ghosted a little bit. Yeah,
I needed a black level TV much better than what I have.
Yeah, the OLED I have now, I love it so much just because those black levels absolutely pop. And the little fucking naked guy. Oh my god, it's so disturbing.
they're everywhere. It's not just one little naked guy. They're
I know.
everywhere. They're
Yes.
all hidden in the background, or the mother's just hidden up in the corner. There's so many hidden things in that movie. As there is, maybe not as much, but as there is with Midsommar, because there are some hidden things. Yeah.
Ari Aster really loves to mess with you with nudity. I think all three of his movies have that. It's another way to make you unsettled. But
definitely, I agree.
We've talked about Beau's Afraid and now Hereditary. Let's go in the middle. Talk some Midsommar director's cut. I have a trailer just to kind of put everybody in the mood. It's like 40 seconds long. I'll play that and then we will start discussing.
Let's go.
This weekend, summer never ends.
Oh, God, no, I'm too scared.
Experience Midsommar, Ari Aster's unrated director's cut.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and I wanted to share it.
Featuring new footage.
Is it scary?
Plus extended scenes.
And who decides what gets added?
Ari Aster's director's cut in select theaters this weekend.
It's okay. It's okay.
That trailer in that 40-second chunk did a great job depicting some of the feelings you get when you watch this movie.
Yes, definitely. I agree.
A lot of graphic stuff. I could not believe that was in a trailer that they showed on TV.
Yeah, I know it. I know it, man. Oh, man. I think one thing that this movie succeeded, and I think it's the one thing that I talk about the most, is the fact that the majority of it takes place during the daylight.
Right.
Which is, I mean, for a horror movie, you really think about that. How many horror movies are nighttime, take place during night? It adds that's the thing. There's the darkness adds a scary effect. So I feel like he was definitely like, hey, we're going to do something in the broad daylight and we're still going to make you feel uncomfortable, unsettled. We're going to scare you. And it wasn't so much jump scares in this one. It was just disturbing things.
Yeah, he leaves you with this unsettling feeling, and it just doesn't really shake off ever. I mean, you get the first third where you find out that what's her name, Danny's parents and sister just died because of what her sister did. Absolutely terrible. That
scene of the sister just sitting there it's etched into my head, into my eyes.
Pretty
I can
much.
see it now.
And it's just like Ari Aster is very good with little details, like the vomit that's on her chest with the exhaust in her mouth duct taped over. Oh my god.
Yep. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
It just keeps on like panning out the window, and that's where the title screen pops up, Midsommar, when it's snowing.
And dude, it's really funny because there's shoot, man, what's the man? Oh, there's okay, I just like a word I couldn't think of. There's a poster that they show early, I think right in the beginning of the movie, that foreshadows the whole entire movie. There's like the whole layout of everything with the bear and everything right in the poster.
Right.
That they show like in one of the picture frames, and you should look it up if you haven't seen it. It's interesting. But yeah, man, it's that scene specifically is the most creepy to me. It's horrifying.
Yeah, in Danny's room, there's a picture, like a poster of a scarecrow, and that comes into play at the very end too. It's just these little touches all over the place.
Yeah.
It sets the mood at the very, very beginning with that like big picture that kind of splits up in the middle, and then it's kind of like a play, kind of interacting. It's
and the trauma, you could feel the trauma, like you can feel, like, I mean, Florence Pugh did an amazing job. I mean, it just like you can feel the pain. And you can just by imagining, you know what I mean? If you went through what she went through, and you could feel it. And I think the way that her performance went was just incredible, and that very, very realistic.
She seems lost. And this is the second time I've seen this movie. First time the director's cut. But the main takeaway I had this time is that she lost her family, and she is just trying to figure out a new place to fit in. She wants it to be with Christian, but it never turns out that way. They've been together for 4 years. When they're at when they're at the retreat, he's literally trying to keep the flame alive by lighting the frickin' candle on the birthday cake.
I didn't even think of that.
It's very little touches like that.
And it is funny. There's A lot of people, I feel like I'm going to get attacked for this one. There's a lot of people that are like, oh man, he's a really bad guy. He's a bad boyfriend. He's a bad this and that. I think it could be seen as both ends of it too, because he is trying. Maybe he's not perfect. He's definitely not a perfect guy, but he does try in the movie to include her. He knows she's gone through something. Let's go away. Let's do this, which I think you see more of in the director's cut a little bit as well, right?
There's more relationship scenes. Like, I think there's an extra 8 minutes of footage in here. The main thing that I saw between the regular cut and the director's cut was the nighttime stuff. Like in the regular version, I don't remember seeing any nighttime stuff at all. Like when they're sleeping, that's about the only thing
the bedtime. Yes.
This one had like a nice Danny and Christian dialogue moment that kind of helped cement them pulling apart a little bit, trying to fix it, but not really knowing how to fix it. And they're just two different people, and they're like magnets attracting at some point.
And then like you go through something so traumatic as what she went through, and you can't just if the relationship was already struggling. Right. How do you leave somebody during that? You know what I mean? You can't. That's not the. So there's a struggle from I think both. Whatever. It's just not working out or whatever. But they do try But everything that happens in between from beginning to end is just crazy. It gets so wild, man.
Yeah, Christian's trying to be a good guy, but before the death happened, he was talking with his friends about like, when are you gonna dump her already? He's like, I've been trying to for a while, and then just the death happens, so he tries to be connected, but like only in like the smallest, like least amount of effort ways possible. Yeah. She really needs something to grasp onto because she's lost literally everything.
Of course.
That's why the very ending of this movie also stuck with me a little bit, because she finally, like, even though I don't think it's her people that she should be hanging out with, she finally people that actually liked her and wanted her to be around. When she's crying, Christian, like when she just finds out about her sister talking about like, okay, I'm gonna do it this time. Christian's like, you're overreacting. It's fine, whatever. When she's bawling in the cabin, once she sees the affair happen, more or less.
Yeah.
Girls literally go around her and start like mimicking her cry in a big group setting. So they're trying to feel everything that she's feeling.
Yeah. So you feel like she's not alone. It's that scene is also very creepy. They're all in sync. It's nuts, man.
Because like not even 5 minutes later, the syncing of the crying is also with like the syncing of the moaning in the sex scene. It's just like, oh my god, I don't like this feeling.
And it's deafening. It's very loud, and you go from like you feel bad to it's like, wait, what's happening right now? What's going on? Another thing that's it's that. Well, going according, so what we were saying before, how he likes to hide things throughout as well. There are multiple times, and I'm pretty sure there's more than one, but there's definitely at least one more time where that disturbing shot of the sister's face is in the background in the trees, just as they're walking by. There's no reason for it to be there. You know what I mean? Right. But if you look in the background, it's like, whoa. That face is just right there in the trees.
Never noticed that until this showing, just because I've seen the movie one other time, and I've just more things to look around because I know what's happening. Always. And I saw that in the tree. Yeah, I could not fucking believe it. And there's multiple times like when she is just going through the motions over there, where she randomly sees her dad, randomly sees her mom.
Yes, they're in the people, right? I think they're in the people. Yeah,
right. She's randomly looking in a mirror. She sees her sister for like a flash second. I thought it was just like this random person, but it is her sister with the exhaust pipe in her mouth. It's so disturbing, but yeah,
it's messed up.
Very, very much so. What's also messed up is that just the graphicness, like there's not, I mean, the nudity is graphic, but I mean, even when there is brutality in here, like when the guys are jumping off the cliff.
Oh man, I know.
The legs just kind of going every which way. The one guy not dying, so they bring the mallet out, and it's Gallagher and the melons.
God,
it horrible. Is terrible. And they at first they don't zoom away from it, but it's just like a wide shot, and you see the head getting smashed, and then it's a close zoom in of it, and it looks, oh my god, so realistic. I hate it.
I agree. It's nuts, man. It's nuts. And then all the way to the small details of the one of the very, very last scenes is just the traumatic face where she's just worn out and exhausted, and then a little smile starts to appear, and that's when it's over. It's like, whoa,
Right.
wow, that's creepy, man. Disturbing. Yeah.
And I don't know, like everybody there seems to be taking drugs a lot.
Yeah.
Like they first get there, they pop in the mushrooms, but like even when they're going around in that circle around the maypole, they drink something.
Yes.
We don't know what it is, but they drink something, and magically she starts feeling very happy and she wants to dance all the time, and she ends up winning and whatnot. But every
And
time
the way that the flowers move and pulsate.
I was just gonna say that every time they're on the substance of something, something is pulsating. Like when they get the mushrooms, the trees are pulsating when she's walking through the forest. The house is kind of like breathing a little bit. And then, when she drinks the tea, you don't see anything until she finally has that Mayflower hat on.
Yeah.
And there's just one just kind of like poofing out. Very cool.
It is very cool. It's a cool little detail where if you're not, I mean, that was a little more obvious, I think, but if you're not paying attention, you're not going to see it right away.
Right.
I love it.
I'm trying to think of what other points we can pinpoint at. I think we talked a lot about this movie in like a very short amount of time. I don't know.
It's disturbing, guys. It's disturbing.
It is. And this movie, the director's cut, it's 2 hours and 53 minutes long, something like that. I didn't feel the length all that much, really. Like it sets a tone, and if you're into being into that tone, you're stuck in it, and it just kind of just flows. I don't know how else to say it.
Do you think that the director's cut was all that necessary?
Honestly, I like the fact in the theatrical cut that you don't see any darkness, because they pretty much say there's barely any nighttime around this time of year. So I kind of like having all of it in the day. Yeah.
That's probably why it was cut out.
Yeah, I mean the relationship scene was nice, but the part before that where this kid randomly volunteers to kill himself and a rock on top, I'm like, what is this? This seems like some Beau is Afraid bullshit. It really does, just something random.
I don't know if it was. I think I prefer the theatrical over the director's, but that's how we got the 4K. That's how we got this cool set. But yeah, man, I think I like the idea that it's during the day more. I think that adds a whole different feel to it as a movie in general.
Agreed. I like them both. Like that's my main thing. There's that one scene really was probably the weakest part, that nighttime scene with the kid. But every other thing that was added in here, I liked.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like all the daytime stuff. Also, I watched this one. When I watched the first one in theaters, I hadn't seen The Wicker Man. And since I've seen this, I have. Steals a lot of the feels that The Wicker Man has. I think The Wicker Man.
I've never seen The Wicker Man.
You haven't seen it?
No, never.
There's a Lionsgate 4K Steelbook coming out.
Yes, there is.
You need to watch that one, because even though it's 50 years old, it still holds up, and I think it's more of a unique horror daytime experience than what Midsommar is. I really do, just because like there's 70s disturbing, like weird songs that pop out of nowhere, and like 70s type of like flower power type songs. Like it's very bizarre, and they're singing about adult situations and stuff. It's just very, very disturbing, kind of in the same way of Midsommar, but different. I liked the narrative threading through The Wicker Man. I like a lot more than the one for Midsommar. I will say
there's an imprint of Wicker Man, right?
I have the set. It's over there. Otherwise, I would grab it.
I think that's one of the first imprint ones that I grabbed. I forgot that I had it, actually. It's somewhere in the back of the closet. I got to grab it, but I want to see the 4K edition.
Yeah, that Wicker Man set has 3 cuts of the film. It's the theatrical, the director, and the final cut. They're all good, and they're only like, I think all 3 of them, there's none of them that are longer than 100 minutes.
No, not bad.
I can't wait to see what that sucker looks like in 4K, though. I cannot wait to see what Lionsgate does with it.
Beautiful looking steelbook too.
Yes. The artwork on that looks stunning. Cannot wait for that sucker to come out.
Lionsgate for the win, man.
Always, absolutely. I'm going to show this off a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna be able to show off like any of the pictures in here.
No,
I
I know.
hoping that I can find one. Like here is what the bear looks like, the flowers on here.
And that's it, man.
I like that. Yeah, I know. I like the set a lot. I
The
want to show
disc.
off the disc because I
Yes.
love that artwork on there.
Me too.
But I kind of like the main thing that popped out to me when I opened this up
Yes.
is that the spine looks like hand done.
And did it worry you that it was going to rip?
No, it reminded me of like a book that was made in the 70s or something. Like
Yeah,
I
I got-
remember
yeah.
seeing spines like this.
I thought mine was ripping when I first
Oh, yeah.
saw it. So I was like, oh no, but I'm glad you just brought that up because that makes me feel a little better about it.
And there's
Cool.
there's not a lot in the book itself. I did want to show off a couple scenes. I wanted to show this foreword that is written by Martin Scorsese. But normally
Yes.
I don't normally when there's a book included in any set, I don't read it, even if it's for a movie I absolutely love. But when the foreword, which is just these 2 pages, is written by Scorsese and he's talking about this movie, I wanted to hear his 2 cents, and I really liked what he had to say. So I'm glad that that's in here because everything else in here are images from the film. Like those I can't show. There's a penis there. There's a lot of bushes on fire right there. Let's see if there's one that I can actually show. Nope. More penises. Here's one.
There you go.
There's all of the different like illustrations that are in this movie. The majority of them are on here. Like the bear is on here, but there's this very cool one shot from this movie that pretty much shows how that one redheaded girl is trying to get like a love lock into Christian, and it pans over showing like cutting her pubic hairs and putting it in his food and taking some of her menstrual blood and putting it in his drink, and you see that his drink is like a shade darker than everybody else's, but it's never called out. It's
yeah, I know, man. I know. The movie's disturbing, man.
It's little things like that that make me appreciate this movie. But I don't know. It's definitely middle of the road Ari Aster. That's pretty easy for me to say. I'm always going to look forward to what his next movie is going to be because he has a very unique voice.
And I agree. I definitely agree, man. So I think we like it. His films in that order, right? It's Hereditary, Midsommar, and then Bo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bo is pretty far down for me. But again, I want to rewatch it. Now that I know, like I knew walking in that it was going to be kind of like an artsy film. I did not know it was going to be like that. So
Did you say walking in or walking in?
I was walking in. Exactly. Yes. Very good. Thank you, Dan. Yeah. I don't know. I feel enthralled to see it. And then before Beau Was Afraid, I watched a lot of his short films. I really like those too. It's just, Beau Was Afraid didn't really sit with me that well. And I'm curious what his next step is going to be because every single movie he's made has been different.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
but also,
you could argue that Midsommar isn't really that much of a horror movie. It's just they're stepping into a different culture almost, and they're invading that culture, and they think it's weird.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm worried, not worried, but I'm interested in seeing what he does next. But you know, Hereditary was the first of the 3 to come out, and I liked it so much. And then Midsommar was, and then Bo was. So I'm hoping we start taking a different turn.
I do
with
too.
the next.
And I know Beau Was Afraid is one he's worked on forever. Midsommar had a very cool story that I wish was a special feature on this disc, but I had to look for it elsewhere on YouTube. He the Finland, whatever country they went to, they reached out to Ari and wanted him to make like a horror slasher movie in their country. And he's like, I'll make a horror movie, but I'll put my own spin on it because he had an idea about like a relationship movie. And he just kind of like intertwined the two. And I thought that was very cool. Like they paid him to set the movie in their home country.
Oh, he did it, man.
Yeah. And he made a very unique piece. There's not a lot of movies out there that are like Midsommar. I can say that with a fact. And
it's got a lot of praise behind it too. So, hopefully it's more opportunity to make stuff, as unique.
Correct. Well, I think that's everything that we wanted to cover. I will, we have a few comments in here. We were live when we were shooting this, so let's show the ones that are in here. Let's see here. Hi, I was the guy who hadn't seen Shawshank Redemption, but just watched it and thought it was a masterpiece. Good.
There you go.
Everybody should watch the Shawshank Redemption.
I mean, you got to see the movie. You got to
Yeah.
see it.
Yesterday,
Super
I
good.
did a live stream of all my Film Vault box sets that I got, and there was one
Nice.
for Shawshank. Amazing. Like,
Love it.
that movie is so good. It deserves to have a nice premium set like the one Film Vault came out for.
I saw the release, man. Really, really nice.
It looks great. Look at this duo. This is some serious TikTok royalty. Thank you very much, Blockbuster Night. Appreciate that. It's hard to get some TikTok love over on these YouTube streets, Dan. I don't know. If
they don't branch over, man. People don't branch. You're on one platform or you're on the other. You're not going from one. You're not merging, man. I get it.
Unfortunately, not. Hopefully that kind of opens up still a little bit more. But yeah, you never know.
I agree.
Is Mill Creek Entertainment a boutique label? It's borderline for me. It's a distributor for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if I would say. I mean,
they come out with those VHS.
The VHS.
Like maybe
that's
that
what I was
one
going to
might
say.
be, but not all of their releases are.
I don't know if I'd call it boutique. It's just different, But I agree with you. Yeah.
Sure. Hey, 4K King, how's it going? I'm hoping to catch this in theaters this October, the last week of October, Midsommar Director's Cut. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think especially if you haven't seen the Director's Cut and you don't want to spend $57 on a set with no features or commentary or anything.
It wasn't even that much when I first got it.
That's crazy. It was 47, and then like with shipping and tax, it was 57, which I almost didn't buy. Like I got to the checkout, and I'm like, oh my God.
I know.
For this. So yeah, if you don't want to spend that type of dough, I would definitely say see it in theaters. I think it's worth the experience of seeing. That's
the thing. We were going to mention about a little bit, but we didn't really talk too much about it. And I know we're not going to be on for that much longer. But look, A24, if you're watching, you're listening. I love everything about A24. Even if there's stuff that I don't like, the pricing is it's a little too high. And so one thing that they had done is it used to be, I think it was you hit $75 and you get free shipping.
Okay.
They completely changed that, and now I think it's $150.
Oh my
and
God.
Listen, man, so it's like you're almost guaranteed to not get free shipping at this point. And they used to at least make it a little easier, okay, well maybe you want one thing, maybe you'll look at a second thing. Now you gotta buy like 4 or 5 things if you're gonna get free shipping. Maybe don't do that.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about that I totally forgot about. They have a membership plan, that A24.
Yes.
Are you a member of that?
I am a member. I wanted to actually make a video on that myself, and because I know a lot of people are asking if it's worth it, and I definitely think it's worth it. Yeah, there's a lot of perks to it. First, I think it's about $59 something a year. A little bit more expensive if you pay monthly, but there are a lot of perks that come with it. They'll send you some. You get discounts on a lot of their releases. The vinyls you get discounted. Sometimes it's 10% off. Sometimes it's a free shipping. They send you, I forget how many a year it is, but like the zines, like the little magazine things, they send you that for free multiple times a year. Free giveaways. There are free tickets. I just actually they gave me one free ticket towards one of these the Thrills and Chills or Chills and Thrills.
Oh, that's cool.
So I mean, it wasn't expensive really anyway, but you have opportunities to I mean, shoot, man, I think because I was an AA24 member, I entered into the contest and I got to see the Whale premiere. There are a lot of different things, and you get like first dibs on new merch coming out, stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of I think it at least adds up to the amount that you pay per year, and it goes past it, especially with just the tickets alone.
Yeah, I mean that premiere alone. Didn't you see Brendan Fraser and Aronofsky?
Yeah,
right? That's what I thought. Yeah, that's so cool. That's worth it to me alone just for the experience.
And they do little things. I mean, I can't get it right this minute. I have to walk away. But they gave an A24 coffee mug for free. You just added it to your order, and it was for free there. And they're really good, man. I mean, so I definitely think it's worth it. Worth the membership.
When you think about it, Vinegar Syndrome has their own subscription, and that's over $1,000 in the span of a year.
Is it really?
It's stupid expensive. Yes.
Wow.
I mean, you get a lot of Blu-rays and 4Ks with that membership, but you don't get all the ones that they release, and you get like some discounts, like you're saying with A24, and that was a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. They just released the or at least up for pre-order the Past Lives vinyl, which I didn't pre-order yet, but I do plan to. And yeah, I think it was a few bucks cheaper, at least a few dollars cheaper, just if you're a member, which is pretty cool because you wind up saving. You really do.
I love collecting movie soundtracks on vinyl. I have so many of them, but I don't have any from A24. Do they come out with cool releases?
Yeah, they do. Oh shoot, man! I wish I can show some more. I'll have to send you a couple of videos.
Yes.
I have one for Men, which is really cool. Because have you seen Men?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
I like the music of Men. I like the music.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the best movie, but there's a lot into it. So there's a lot of different faces within the film, and the front, I guess you call it like the outer box or the slipcover. It's a cutout. And it comes with different like art cards that you could keep sliding out, and you could keep changing the image of the front image of the vinyl casing itself.
Cool.
That was really cool. The Green Knight with the green translucent colored vinyls itself are really cool. Yeah, they themselves put a lot of good ones out, but they're also like other, around the world, like the UK releases a lot of good stuff. I have a lot of their soundtracks on vinyl, probably at least 20, 25.
Yeah, when I pick up Marcel, I'm pretty sure I'm going to add one of the vinyls to the cart. I just don't know which one to add yet.
Yeah, you gotta. You should.
Yeah.
Well, there's an Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I don't know if that's the soundtrack. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's up to you. We're all have different tastes.
Yeah, we got a few more comments here. Bo's Afraid will remain my favorite from Ari. Oh, really? 4K King.
Nice.
Wow, that is a take. Yeah. To
That's
each
what I
their
like.
own. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah.
I agree.
Is A24 a streaming service? No, it's like a subscription.
It's a subscription. There is they are doing some sort of streaming service, but I don't know much into it because I'm so into physical media that I didn't really look into it that much. It's like I am the A24 streaming service.
Yeah, you don't need that service at all.
That's another thing you asked me about before, but if we have time for it, we'll go into it. Go ahead, let's do the comments.
Oh no, sure. We just got one more. What would you recommend as your first A24 movie? Oh boy. That's all you. I feel like you would know. You would have a better recommendation than I.
I mean, I think I would probably go for first A24 movie. If you don't want to see something too out there that's going to be like, oh, what is this company? And you don't want to see something that's too generic. I would go Ex Machina, just how I started it. It hooked me in. It was like, oh man, I like this movie a lot. Great cast, great story, great visuals. I liked Ex Machina a lot. I think that would probably be my first.
I'd probably do Everything Everywhere All at Once because you can see how wonky that is, and if you are on board for that, you could pretty much go anywhere. The sky's the limit with A24.
I could see that too. Yeah, definitely. That's a good one. One thing you had asked me before was about the amount of releases that there are.
Yeah.
From
A24. Off the top of your head?
So movies in general, they have released roughly 150, give or take, here and there.
And they've been around since like 2013, right?
Yeah, I think 2012 they came out. It was when they first started coming around. Spring Breakers, I believe, was their first.
I love Spring Breakers, by the way.
I don't love Spring Breakers. I like James Franco in the movie. I'm not the biggest fan. I mean, he's weird as hell in the movie, but I didn't love the movie. Spring Breakers was one of the first ones. A Glimpse Inside the Mind of Charles Swan III is a really weird one that nobody.
That's the only thing I know about the movie.
Yeah. I believe The Bling Ring, I believe, is one of the first ones. But I've seen, and I keep track. This is really what I keep track. What I have a letterbox for, because I don't really use it that much for reviews just yet. I've seen 128 of their stuff. I was right on. I mean, I had seen. There was a point where I've seen everyone, and then I just lost track. How many have physical media is what you had asked. At least in the U.S., from what I counted briefly, I did a quick little once over. At least 110.
Oh, that's it.
I have. Yeah, it's 110 of them. Then there's a good handful that just came out to DVD, so that's 110 Blu-rays around. Blu-rays with only like a handful of the 4Ks. Only a handful came out on DVD, and then the remainder are like streaming stuff, or stuff that hasn't been. Stuff that maybe didn't come out just yet, because now who knows what they're going to release in their own platform. And then I had somebody make, for all the ones before this year. I had somebody make about, I don't even know, like 15 custom Blu-ray discs for me that I still need somebody to help me
So you could have
make
them,
the
yeah.
artwork in. Yeah. So, but
Mhm.
yeah, so over 100, I have about 110
Oh.
plus.
So you just got the discs made. You don't have the actual cases or anything. I gotcha.
I had somebody lined up to help me out, and they kind of just flaked on me. So I would like I want the artwork, and I want slipcover on them.
I have a couple hookups for like custom steelbook makers if you want to go all the way out.
Let's talk, man. I want a
Yeah.
ghost story, baby.
Absolutely, yeah.
I want
feel
a
like those
custom
suckers
ghost
will look
story.
nice on there. Yeah, you got to make them look nice in your collection, man.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, man. We'll
Okay,
talk.
and I think you convinced this guy. Ex Machina, it is. Was debating that or Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah, I don't think you can go
Ooh.
wrong either way. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't. And you know what though? But I almost agree with what you had said. I think Ex Machina is the safe choice because I think it's a little bit more like you can understand it. There's no real like there's not so much of a real thought process into what's going on. Everything Everywhere All at Once does show
Yeah.
it's right in your face, but it's also not, and it is very wacky and kooky at the same time, and it's a lot of fun. So if you want something that's going to throw you right into the world of A24, I think that's Everything Everywhere All at Once. If you want something that's going to ease you into it, I think Ex Machina is probably a good choice. That's what
Ex
brought my
Machina
attention to it.
is the good like dip your toe into the pool to see if
Yeah.
it feels good. Everything Everywhere All at Once is just a
throw
giant
yourself in.
cannonball into the world.
The head and everything into
Pretty
an
much.
ice bucket. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Before we end here, I like to show off who my next guest is going to be on the next episode. And I have a doozy. Like every single episode, I have talked with somebody about a physical media release. One other thing that I like to do on my short form videos is go over artists who make different like steelbook releases and whatnot.
I know who you're talking about.
I'm going to bring that over to the podcast. So my next guest is none other than Mexifunk.
Love it.
It's going to be amazing. I can't believe that he said yes to being on here. He has come out with so many different boutique releases, a lot of steel books as well.
Yeah.
He's coming out with Pumpkinhead in October. So I'm like, hey, do you want to promote that release and talk about some of your older stuff? And he was more than game.
Awesome. He's great, man. Super, super talented.
Yes. He's a great artist. He's a great dude. I've been able to talk with him for the past, I don't know, a while. And
yeah.
I've been wanting to do something with him. And finally I was able to have like a long form piece to pick his brain about some of the art he's made. I can't wait for next week.
And it's not just from like popular, like known films. He's also like, he's dipping his toes into like some lesser known stuff as well. Like we promoted the Fog City Steelbook, and he has his hands in that one. And I mean, that right there alone, if I didn't hear anything about it, I was like, oh, Mexifunk did this, man. Yeah, he's great. He's super talented. I like his stuff a lot.
Right. I have a list of stuff that he has made. I'll just like throw some IPs that he has worked on. He's worked in the Spider-Man universe with Venom and Morbius. He's done Punisher for Lionsgate. He's done Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. He's done a lot of the Scream Factory ones with Carrie and My Bloody Valentine. Like he goes all over the board with the stuff that he's worked on. And yeah, I can't wait to talk about like what his thought process was and just get like, I feel like when releases come out, the artist doesn't really get a lot of attention for the artwork that we're buying on these releases.
I agree.
I want to put that more into the spotlight any way I can.
I agree. Well, you know what? I should also introduce you to Adeni from Everything Blue.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a good idea also. Yeah.
I would love. Is he still with the company? I know that they're part of like Zavvi now.
Well, Everything Blue they turned into Zavvi. I think they have some stuff planned. I'm not too sure what the path is at the moment, but
the last one was The Fifth Element, and that sucker was a great release.
Yeah. Oh, I'm bummed out. I missed out on the Rambo one. That would have been cool to grab.
Right.
Yeah.
I got one for Black Klansman, and I'm just happy that they came out with a steelbook set for that. I love that movie, so I'm glad a tiny little Spike Lee joint like that got a nice premium release.
I mean, look at that Cornetto trilogy right back there.
I look at it every time you do a live stream, and I am mad I never picked them up. But now you can't find them for cheap at all.
I know. Yeah.
Well, Dan, thank you very much for coming on here. It's been a pleasure, man. I had a blast talking Midsommar and A24 with you. It's been fun.
Listen, man, anytime you want to talk about anything, but especially A24, you let me know, man. Hey, this was an honor, man. I'm my pleasure, buddy. Thank you for having me.
Do you want to plug anything before you go, before I forget?
Just feel free to check me out. I'm Dan in Real Life over on TikTok. We are approaching, the both of us actually are approaching 100K followers now on there. So feel free
you're
to
gonna beat me to it, man. I had the lead for the very longest time, and I've just been stagnant for a while.
It's not a race, my man. And to me, you're always going to be in the lead.
I'm cheering.
Yeah, man, we're right
as
there.
hard as you're cheering me. So yeah,
that's a respect, man. I have a lot of respect for you, buddy. I really do. And yeah, I'm Bluray Dan everywhere else, man. And I think if I'm going to plug anything, it's just kindness, man. I try to always, be there for one another, be kind to one another, and tell someone you love them, because we don't know how much time we have left in the world. And I think that's what everything's all about, man. It's just be kind.
I love that mindset from you. I think that's one of the main reasons why we get along so well, man.
I agree, man.
We talk a lot, and that if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. You gave me everybody every now and again needs like a push to kind of get to the next step of where they want to go or where they think is like an impossible thing to do. And you were the person. I reached out to you randomly. We started talking, and it's been nothing but positivity ever since. So I am always going to preach that. And I'm always going to be thankful for you. Well,
I appreciate that, man. And I'm thankful for you as well. And dude, with the stuff that you post and how you're handling things and how you're growing and everything, that's inspiring to me as well, man. It's a good play-by-play. We bounce off of each other really well, man. And I agree, man. It's a lot of respect to you, buddy.
Yep. Nothing but good things for both of us.
Same here, man.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks again for popping on. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. And until next time, I'll see you.
Take care, guys.